Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV of Frederick, Colorado. My name is Michaela. This morning we have a brand new, just hit the lot on like Friday or Saturday of last week, a 2026 Logan Coach Bullseye. This one's a 3-horse bumper pull with your front tack. Before we get to it here in person, we're just going to run through the dimensions of this drawing together for you guys. This one is going to be standard size. So we're looking at 6 foot 9 inches wide, 7 feet tall. And then your total floor length on this one from the front of the nose to the rear is 16 feet and about 8 inches. And then from your coupler all the way back to the back is 19 feet and 4 inches. So really good compact size. This one's gonna be perfect for getting in those tighter trailheads up in the mountains, getting into your vet clinics, wherever you guys meet your farrier if it doesn't come to your house. This one's a great size, also good for going behind the smaller half-ton trucks as well as your SUVs, something that doesn't have the gooseneck capabilities. So these ones are very popular. We do try and keep a few on the lot in different colors. We have white. This one here is going to be our silver metallic. We also have charcoal. So if you guys see one on our lot that you guys like the setup, but maybe you want this one here in a different color, if it's not here, we can get you that color as well. So just keep that in mind as we run through this setup here. Looking at our front tack, we've got a lot of our equipment here that swings out for you guys, so you're not having to climb in and out of this tack room every time you need to grab something. First, right here on your door, you're gonna have your blanket bars. There is a double-ended snap right here that holds them up against your door, but then you can also twist them out right there and have a lot easier access to those saddle pads. We do have 4 right here on our door, but as you guys can see, they're spaced out really well. I've got a 4-pole blanket bar on my door at home, and I can double stack blankets on here very easily. Good triple stack as well, but tons of good space right here. And then it does just flip back over here and snap back closed for you guys so it doesn't swing while you're driving. And then behind your blanket bars, we have that bus window up here that will slide open. Get some really good ventilation behind your saddle pads. So I love the location of the pads and the window right there. So when you do go on that long trail ride, if you're at a gymkhana or horse show, you're driving home and you want to get some air movement through those pads, that window's great for that purpose. And then down here, your brush tray. I've got a brush tray on my trailer at home and I love it. It is jam-packed full of stuff. This time of year especially, it's going to have fly spray, a couple different kinds because I rotate, as well as mane and tail detangler, and then all of my brushes. Soft brushes, curry combs, hoof picks. I've got my mane and tail bands in there, so when I'm braiding their manes and tails. So I've also got some loose Chicago screws in there as well, but just kind of a nice catch-all right here outside of your trailer. And then also have our swing out saddle rack right here. These saddle racks are really neat because they're super versatile because you can adjust them without any tools required. So all you're gonna do is come back behind that saddle post. I'll show you guys right here. Back here, there's just a knob. So all you're doing is spinning that knob just to get it loose. And then you can slide this up and down anywhere on this track. So if you wanted to lift them up, you guys can just kind of work against the grain there, get it up a little bit. If you want to get your stirrups kind of up off the ground, because mine like to drag with my long legs. If you want to slide it back down, gain some space right here for those taller saddle horns, like on your barrel saddles and your cutters. And then all you're doing, I'm just spinning that wheel back in there, so now it's tight on there. So you guys can space these out however you need to. And I love that there's no tools. You guys can just do it kind of on the fly, however you need to. And I noticed on mine at home, when I had this one up too high with my taller barrel saddles, it was catching on the door, so I was able to lower that one as well. And again, just make the trailer work for your needs. So I think that's really handy. And this does swing in and out without any pins or anything. So I've got a lot of customers that will come and start pulling, and then they've had some older trailers in the past that have those locking pins in the ground or something, so they start to look for that. You don't have to worry about any of that with this one. All you're gonna do is give it a good tug, and that will swing out and bring all your saddles out here for you. And then we are 6'9" wide, so you do have your full length running board when you are climbing up in here. Acts as a little bit of a step right there for you guys. And then as we climb in, we'll start at the ground, work our way up. This one is going to be that marine grade carpeting, so it's really shallow, which is nice because then if you do get some dirt and some grime in here, it's not really going to get stuck down in that carpet. This piece also is removable, so if you wanted to pull out that water tank and then you can pull out this whole carpet piece, A lot of customers will lay carpet over this or just pull this piece out entirely and use this vortex lining floor. But just know that's an option. It is cut to fit size, but it is removable. Also take it out and clean it if you want to, and then put it back in. Over here on this wall, we do have our saddle racks that swing in up against this bumper, so we do have a little bit of extra space right here. I've seen some trailers come in where people will mount maybe like those door organizers and stuff right here to get a little bit more storage in this space. You also have your full-size matching spare tire over here. So same aluminum wheel, same matching full-size tire right here. And then back up against this partition wall, we're gonna have that same marine grade carpeting right here, and that's gonna be behind your entire row of bridle hooks. So up here, what that's doing for you guys, it's protecting your tack and your equipment. So anything that you hang on these hooks, it's gonna be protected, but it's also keeping it a little bit quieter for your horses on the other side of this wall. So if you guys think you have all your bridles hanging right here, extra halters, they've got those conchos, clips, bits, snaps, all the things, all the metal pieces. If they're banging on this carpet, it's gonna be a lot quieter than if they were banging on some aluminum. So that's just a lot nicer for your horses over there and for your equipment right here. But you've got this full row, lots of good hanging space up here. And then down below, you guys will see this black spray. I just mentioned it on the floor. It's gonna be their vortex lining spray. So similar to a bed liner, softer though. I always like to tell people, like, if I run my hand up against it, it's not gonna cut my hand at all. It's not sharp like that bed liner in your trucks. It's pretty nice and smooth. But that's just gonna be protecting all of your metal on this trailer. They spray it on their entire frame. Their frame is a galvanized steel, and then everything up from there is gonna be aluminum skin. But Logan does a good job of just coating all that exposed metal. So really good protectant against the elements, but also protecting whatever you store in here as well. And then over in this corner, kind of using up our dead space, is this water tank right here. Does fill up at the top. So you're just gonna throw your hose in the top. They fill pretty fast. I've got one in my trailer. I really do like it. Fill it up there with a hose, and then down below, you're gonna have two different spigots. So you're gonna have this one here that is up high enough you could just set your 5-gallon bucket under here, your dog water bowl, whatever you guys need to fill up. But then you also have this hose that would attach at this spigot right here and run out of your trailer door to get water out there if you want to fill buckets on the ground, if you need to rinse off some tack, if you need to rinse off your horse. This one is pretty long. You might need a little bit longer one. This is about 4 feet, it says. So you might need a little bit longer if you're trying to get to your horses, but this does at least get it out the trailer if you want to fill those buckets out there. And also when you're winterizing and draining this tank, it's good to just run that hose out there and drain it that way. But it does come with this hose. Has pretty good pressure. Again, I've got one in my trailer at home. It fills buckets very quickly. It has plenty of pressure to be able to rinse a horse off. Just note, when you are purchasing a longer hose, it does need to be this kind of flexible but permanent hose, not a grow hose. This does not have enough pressure to expand the grow hose. So keep that in mind, guys. And then up here, I know I'm taking you back in one more time before we leave, but I just got some light switches right here I wanted to point out. These are gonna control interior lights in here as well as that light outside of your tack room. I like to point those out because we do have a lot of customers that will watch these videos and then purchase sight unseen. They purchase nationwide. We do have a nationwide transport company. So they'll watch this video and buy them, take them home, and then they haven't had the opportunity to walk through them here with us at Transwest. So I just like to point out where those buttons are. That's gonna be your exterior light, and then there's an interior light as well for all that visibility. Working our way back, we're gonna have another exterior light up above over your tie rings. That switch will be on the rear of your trailer. And then we're gonna have sliding bus windows over tail side. So these will open 50%, get you guys some good airflow moving through there on tail side. I've got those sliding bus windows on my tail side as well. I like to leave those open almost all the time, just because, you know, your horses have body heat and we just want to get that moving out, especially over their hips. There is a perfect spot to get that air moving. And then 3 tie rings per side. So you guys have the ability to tie all 3 on this side, all 3 on the other side, or split them up and space them out. I know a lot of these trailheads, when I was riding up in the evergreen conifer area especially, but most trailheads nowadays that I've come across, they do have very narrow, tight parking spaces for horse trailer parking. They also like to use decorative boulders as well So you end up having to park up against one of those on this side. You now have the ability to tie up on either side, no matter the circumstances. Silver metallic sheeting, that's what this color here is. I do really like this one if you guys are trying to match truck colors. A lot of customers will like to match their tow vehicle, so this one's gonna be your silver metallic. Also have it in that really dark charcoal gray as well as your white. And then down below, this aluminum extrusion, this is gonna be on their Bullseye and Riot models. You guys will also see on our lot here, we have some other Crossfire models. The Crossfire does not have this aluminum extrusion, so it's just on your Bullseyes and up. The aluminum extrusion on this trailer is just adding a nice structural integrity piece. You guys will see it runs the full length of your stall area, and it's gonna be on both sides, but most importantly on this side here, which is, as we mentioned, tail side. So if your horses are kicking up against the wall on the inside there, this is just a nice piece to kind of solidify this sidewall of the trailer. And then we mentioned 6'9" wide, so standard width. You guys are gonna have your full running board and wheel well on the exterior. We've got two 3,500-pound axles under here with those aluminum wheels. We also have them in black spoke wheels. We'll go ahead and make our way around to your loading space. We do have two 50/50 doors back here, and then we do have a step up. So if you guys are looking to add a rear ramp, that is something we can do at our shop here. We will need to order one from Logan because we do not stock them here, but we can get them and ship them here on one of our inventory trailers coming next and get one added for you. Otherwise, come standard as a step up. And then I just want to point out the floor in here. We've got removable rubber mats. And then underneath, we have wood plank flooring, but it is coated in their vortex lining on the top side here. So if you have any urine that soaks through the seams of your rubber mats, it gets down to this wood, the wood is protected by that vortex lining. It's gonna help it last a lot longer. Typically don't see having to replace these floors very often. We've seen them come in. I guess it totally depends on how you maintain them. If you are taking care of them at home, cleaning out your trailer, we typically recommend at least once a year, about every spring, pull those mats, hose it out, make sure it's ready to go for the year. Maybe again, before you put it away for the winter, power wash it out and keep an eye on them. But we've seen these floors come in on trailers 10, 20 years old and never needing to be replaced because they were taken care of. Same with the rest of your trailer. I do recommend every spring kind of going through a maintenance. We do have that service here at Transwest. They call it a PDI, and then they do axle alignments as well. So this one being new will not have needed it, but say you go run it for a year, you never know. In Colorado, you'll hit some potholes. You drive off the road at some of those trailheads, you end up on the shoulder. It does tweak your axles. So every spring, get your axles aligned, run through the trailer, and just make sure it's ready to roll for you. Stepping up in here, our first divider here is going to be a telescoping divider. So all you're gonna do is pick up on this pin right here. You're gonna pick that up. So it moves, lifts up out of there, and then you're just gonna push this part in, and it will telescope into itself and give you guys the ability to fully open this divider if our other rear door was closed. So if you guys are working kind of in a windstorm, on a slope, you can't open this door, you only have the one to work with, this can be opened and clipped open up against this wall if that door is still closed. Also, if you guys are hauling and you want to run this space wide open, if you have mares and foals, you just have young horses, maybe they're not halter broke yet, maybe this is gonna be your evac trailer and you need more livestock space for goats, pigs, sheep, whatever you guys have at home, and you just need to run them all in here and get them out in case of emergency, your dividers will clip open and you have the ability to use this entire trailer like that. Also, if you're moving, you can stack your furniture in here. Could probably also fit, dependent on size, a Cricket, a narrower golf cart, an ATV, a narrower side-by-side, that sort of thing. Going all the way up to the front, we'll work our way back as we go. Each head side is going to have your drop-down window with jail bars and a window screen. Each stall is also going to have one tie ring up there. We do have the ability here to add a second tie ring through our shop if you guys are needing two of them, but you'll get one. You're also going to have these D-rings right here if you want to install a corner feeder. That will set down in there, standard size through any ranch supply store. And then each stall is also going to have a two-way roof vent. So on my trailer at home, when I always recommend this, my front ones, just depends on how many you have. I've got 4. So my front 2, I push them open forwards. Very easy to do that. And then my rear ones, I would push open backwards. And what that's going to do for you guys is just get you some air moving through this trailer at a really good flow. So the air is coming in through these ones, working its way across their backs, and then flowing out through your rear ones. So get some good circulation without having to open up all your windows. And especially because heat rises, it's good to just get that air moving across them right there. And then each stall is also going to have one light over tail side. You guys will have that visibility inside of here as well. All of our dividers are padded dividers. I don't have the padding on my dividers at home. I wish I did, because it's nice for a comfort feature. Even if you are just hauling local distances close to home, you'll typically always end up in traffic somewhere nowadays, or stoplights when you are hitting those brakes. It's nice for them to have something to set up against and balance on. And then to go ahead and lengthen your telescoping divider right here, you don't have to pull the pin again because it's already up and it's going to drop in that hole as soon as it gets there. So all I'm going to do now is just pull on my divider, and that pin drops back in where it needs to, and now you have 2 full dividers. These guys are slam latches, so you'll always see me kind of give it a good shove shut. Very easy to open and close. And then behind there, we have a piece of foam back in there, and that's just giving this divider something to rest up against. So if it rattles, which it's not going to because that foam has made it so snug, it's not really going to be loud because that foam is going to kind of absorb the rattle and absorb that noise. So it's very quiet. Whatever we can do to keep it quiet in here for your horses and keep them comfortable going down the road. And then you guys will see that black vortex lining again throughout this entire stall space back here. What that's doing for you guys in here is just protecting your walls, same as you've seen it on the floor, as well as in your tack space and your rear doors. Go ahead and close this door for you guys. You can see this piece back here. They went ahead and added this extra aluminum cover right here over your posts. So you won't see this on your crossfires, but you'll see it on your bullseyes and up. It's just protecting that rear post right there that spins and locks your door shut. They do still spray that piece in that vortex lining, but now adding a secondary trim cover, I also think it just finishes it off and gives it a really nice look as well. You will have a load light up here for loading in the dark. You guys are also going to have your license plate holder with a light above your license plate. But a couple customers asked me if that's a different light or if it's a camera system. That's just going to be a light for your license plate. And then over here, there's those other light switches I had mentioned for your stall area, your load lights, and then your exterior lights over your tie rings. We'll go ahead and move our way around to our head side here and check out the outside of those drop down windows. So as I mentioned, you're going to have those jail bars that stay up, and then there's a window screen as well. I like the window screen because it just protects from any sort of debris getting in there. But if you guys don't, it's also removable. So you guys can set this trailer up how you need to and how you like it. Don't feel like you can't remove those and have to keep those on there. If you did want to drop those jail bars down, you're going to pull straight down on your middle bar. Releases that mechanism, and now you can drop those all the way down. If you guys did want to add some feed in those corner feeders, if you just want to climb up in here and check on them, untie them so you can get them out safely, offer them some water. You guys have the ability to just get all the way in there if you need to. And then jail bars to keep their heads in while you drive down the road. This window here will pop into a socket right there, and this one can travel down, so it's not going to catch the wind and blow up and do that wave motion that you guys will see on windows that don't lock into place. But if you want to lift it back up, give it a good tug to pull it out of there. You're just going to slam it shut. There's slam latches. Latching mechanism is up here, but Logan has kind of noticed that that might be a little bit too high for a lot of customers. So they've added this bar right here, which makes it a lot easier to reach. You only have to get to right here instead of way up here now. And all you're gonna do is pull straight down. So it's not gonna pull out at you. It's not gonna lift that way. You're just gonna pull straight down, and that will unlatch that mechanism and allow you to drop that window down. All 3 of these windows do that. Just gonna close these guys up so you guys can see we also have our 3 tie rings over here, as well as an exterior light over these tie rings for visibility on this side. So no matter where you tie up, you're gonna have that light over you. And then back down to our axles, 3,500-pound axles, aluminum wheels on this side as well. Working our way up front, we have this aluminum tread bright up the front half of the nose, or the front quarter of the nose. This is just gonna be protecting that front part of your nose from debris that kicks up from your tow vehicle. So it could be salt spray from the road in the wintertime, it could be rocks from a dirt road or gravel road that you frequently travel, but nice to have this part protected at least down low. And then back up to your tongue right here, you guys are gonna see again a little bit more of this vortex lining. I love it up here because this is the part that's gonna get, as we mentioned, a lot of the spray from the road, a lot of the rocks and gravel kicking up from that tow vehicle. Having all of this sprayed and protected is a great feature, and they do offer a limited lifetime corrosion warranty with this vortex lining. Single manual crankjack, but they're so easy to use. You guys can do it one-handed there. And then we do have a 2 5/16 inch ball, and that part is gonna lock it down on there. Also has a pin. You guys can stick your pin through here and stick that guy on there, and that's gonna ensure that that guy stays down and locked, because you guys can see now it's not gonna come up and unlock. It stays locked on your tow vehicle. To unlock, you're just gonna lift it all the way back up. You guys will have 2 safety chains. And this piece here is gonna be your breakaway cable. So your breakaway brakes will engage if this cable right here, you're gonna extend this all the way to your tow vehicle, but this end down here, if that were to pop loose when you become disconnected, it will engage your trailer brakes. So a nice emergency safety feature right there. And then you guys have a 7-pin connector to your tow vehicle, so make sure your tow vehicle has that 7-pin connection. This is gonna run all of your lights, brake lights, turn signals, tail lights, interior lights, and then your brakes, of course. So because this one is brand new, it's a 2026, you're getting that limited lifetime corrosion warranty with your vortex lining. You're also gonna get an 8-year structure warranty with this Logan, as well as 2-year hitch to bumper warranty and everything else. You're getting some great warranties when you buy new. This one here is still available. Again, it just hit the lot. If you guys have any questions, you wanna see this in a 2-horse, you wanna see this in a different color, feel free to reference this stock number so I know which unit we're talking about. This one's 5N250-769, your 2026 Logan Coach Bullseye. Maybe you want to look at some Riot models or some Crossfires. I'm glad to answer any questions and walk you through your options. Feel free to reach out directly to my cell phone. It's 303-918-6367. That's an iPhone, so you guys can call or text that number. If you prefer to email, it's Michaela.Hall@transwest.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Monday morning, and we'll see you next time.